be relaxed. I don't want to, you know me.
Yeah, no. Fun to hear from Brenda. All right, Miss Brenda. So today is what, June 28th,
Yes.
and we're at Harbor Hospital.
Yes.
And you and I today are going to be talking a little bit about Project Heart and your role as a peer recovery coach. So just start off telling us a little bit about you, about Miss Brenda.
So my name is Brenda. I am a peer recovery specialist here at Harbor Hospital on the Women and Infants Department on the second floor. And my specialty is helping women who are suffering from substance abuse and who are pregnant. I am in long-term recovery myself. My goal at the beginning of the day is to help somebody and let them know that they are not alone in this process and that recovery is possible. Okay.
Thank you. And what does that mean to be a peer recovery coach, a peer recovery specialist?
So a peer recovery specialist is someone who is trying to help another peer who have similar or same issues, circumstances, and has moved from illness to wellness and is inspired to help others.
Yeah.
Okay?
And if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about your experience. And so as a peer recovery specialist, as you mentioned, you're somebody in long-term recovery yourself. And so tell us about kind of your experience going through your pregnancies and maybe how substance use impacted your pregnancies.
Okay. So as I spoke earlier, I am in long-term recovery. I started using drugs maybe when I was like 13 years old. I got pregnant at the age of 15, and I didn't use with my first pregnancy, nor my second pregnancy, but my third pregnancy, I did. And you know, I can't say that I had a thought to say, should I use or shouldn't I use? It wasn't a choice in the matter. The only choice was to get high. And I did that continuously, not only with the third child, the fourth child, and the fifth child. I felt awful about it. It's not a good feeling to know that you're carrying another human being and knowing that you are not only hurting yourself,
Right.
but someone else. But it was, the power of addiction is so exactly what I just said, powerful, that you want help, but you're scared to get help. Or you don't know how to get help. You know, I see now all the help that's available for women. Not only just for women, women that are pregnant, men, you know, that was unheard of when I was pregnant. I can recall having one of my kids and being in that hospital room and the nurse coming in and me not knowing all about addiction at all and seeing my baby in withdrawals and shaking and asking that nurse what's wrong with my baby, and the response that she gave me, I didn't ask her any more questions.
What was her response?
Her response was probably from all of that cocaine that you smoked. You know, and that shame, guilt, hurt, all that flared up. You know, it is very important for anyone that's working in this profession, in the hospitals, clinics, compassion, empathy. I can't say that enough. You know, like I said, my goal is to not run people back out the door. The goal is to welcome. If I can say that if somebody would have shown compassion, I can't say what my choices would have been then, but just a little bit to say, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna work this out.
So you mentioned, going back to something you said earlier, and I think you kind of touched on it, that you were scared. What is it you were scared of when you were pregnant?
The law, the social worker. You know, a lot of times when I go in these rooms, I'm dressed in regular clothes. I'm not dressed as a nurse. And you can just tell, and I always go in and reassure them. Calm down. I know the look.
Yeah.
I know it. Panic, fear. Here come the social worker. They gonna take my baby. And I have to reassure them, no, I'm not the social worker. I'm somebody just like you. And I want to help.
So how do you think you talked about how substance use affected your pregnancies. How do you think it affected your parenting?
I don't even know whether I want to talk about my parenting.
Okay.
It wasn't none. If I had a choice, no, I had a choice. If I had, when I was using, and I had choices, here's the money in my hand for the food. Here's the dope.
Yeah.
The dope always won. I had to get the dope first. That's the only way I could function.
So can you talk a little bit about what was going on in your life when you decided you wanted or needed to make a change?
I gotta say, it was when I went to prison. I gotta say, I don't know whether you'll understand what I'm about to say, but in all the years that I was using, when I finally got that set down time in prison, it was if that whole, to me, it appeared like it was just one day. And that life or light had finally came on for me. Am I making any sense?
You are. Yeah.
It was like it was like with all that running and chasing and running and chasing. Now, there were times that I had went to prison, but it was in and it was out. But this time, it was set down for me. And so, when I finally was in that prison cell, and I saw, it was like I finally saw my life. Oh, devastation. Oh, I saw so like a baby in there because I finally.
Email me, text me, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And if mom comes.
I had finally saw what a mess I had made of my life. And not only my life, but my children. I can remember writing a letter to my children. And I know I had forgive me on there 1,000 times. But that jail cell was my wake-up call. Did I come out and get high again? Absolutely. But this time, it didn't stay. This time, it was like, no, I can't do this no more. And that's when my process began.
So how do you feel that your personal recovery impacted your parenting?
On the best. You know, I have learned how to be real. First of all, I didn't know how to be real with me. You know, I had faked, manipulated, schemed, did so much. And now is the opportunity for me to love on me. See, if I don't be honest with me, I can't be honest with you. You know, and my children, oh, they love me. Because I'm not that person anymore. You know, this process it's so many programs, it's so many resources, it's so many opportunities. You know, I wish I could go out in the middle of the hood, the neighborhood, and scream like, you don't have to live like this. Tell the women, I know you're pregnant, I know you're using, I know you're scared, but I got somewhere you can go and get some help. You know, if they, you know, when I see a pregnant woman on the street, how you doing? You know, it's because I know the importance of that. Them little babies, and you know I work with the babies too.
I do.
You know, and I see the babies. The babies go, oh my God. They go through that withdrawal. And to see the moms seeing what the babies go through. You know, and sometimes you have those moms that wake up because of that. But sometimes that addiction, boy, I tell you,
Yeah.
it's a beast.
Yeah.
You know?
So, in thinking about your experience and your continued personal recovery, how do you think that that has helped you connect to your patients?
Well, from what I know, I have patients here now. I have a patient here now that I tried out a year ago. And she didn't get it then, you know. It took her coming back, you know. But there's always hope. You know, what I've seen, when this position became available, I was like, I gotta do this. Because I can relate. I can walk in a room and I know, you know, and I hug my patients. You know what I mean? Let them know you ain't by yourself. You know, and for them to be able to, you know, it's hard for us sometimes to even to talk or feel.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, you know, we lose the feeling. You know, we so busy get up to get and go and get that we lose feeling, we lose sense of who we are, who we can be.
Yeah.
You know, and to walk in the room and let them know, look, what we gonna do? What do you want to do? It ain't about what I want for them. I could want a whole lot for them. I'll map it out. But that's not my job. My job is to encourage. My job is to motivate them. Like, come on, we're going to do this. What we going at today? What's your plan for the day? I don't want to say it. I want them to be able to say it. I want them to participate in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want them to get that drive again. And once they get that drive, I call, do a follow-up call, and it's like, Miss Brenda, I got 2 days. I got a week. Miss Brenda, I got 6 months. And the joy that it brings me. You know, somebody trying.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I am a willing participant in helping them. You know? Yeah. That's some good stuff.
And they felt, and they believe you're part of that journey, or else they wouldn't be reaching back out to you
Exactly.
to tell you about it.
Exactly.
And one thing that I always, and I've probably talked with you about this too, is that there are plenty of other people in this hospital who are in recovery, right? There are nurses, there are doctors, there are other staff, but it's not their role to be open about that, to share their experiences and build that relationship in the same way with their patients.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you, and this may be similar, but how do you build that rapport or kind of show patients that you can be trusted?
Well, first of all, I believe they take me as an advocate because I just try to keep it, can I say 100?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I keep it 100 with them. And I always tell all my patients, when I first introduce myself, let them know who I am, you know, I tell them, listen, if you be real with me, I'm going to be real with you. But if you don't come clean with me, I'm not going to be able to get you the help that you need.
Yeah.
And I think that's the icebreaker. You know, I think how you present yourself, how you deliver. You know, I can't go in being hard on somebody that's done beat themselves up so bad. You know, they need somebody genuine. You know, oh dang, I might be able to trust this lady. This lady might be able to help me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's how I just keep it real with them. And in doing that, they do the same with me. Yeah.
So why do you feel that your role is important to both pregnant people and parents who already have children?
Okay, so you have pregnant people who are using, and you have parents who are using, right? So for the people that's pregnant, right, I can relate, right? For the people that's parenting and using, I can relate, right? So the scenario in both of them is they can't believe that me, you was an addict. Yeah. And I always say, and change looks good on you too.
Ah, I like that.
Change looks good on you too. You know, the whole thing is to just give them a shot of hope. It gotta be something. And that something that they said, something that they have done, something to inspire them to say, I might be able to do this. I might be able to do this.
And you are that example. You are that living, breathing example that it can be done.
Absolutely. It gotta be.
Hi.
It's something in what they said, their response to something. That's why listening is so important. I don't have to do a whole lot of talking.
Right.
You know, all I gotta do is say a few things and allow them to open up. You know, this, man, I'm telling you, this process and this program that has been established here at MedStar has been like, yes. You know, I really like my job.
Good tell.
You know, I like my job. I get emotional a lot because I be feeling them. You know, I feel these ladies. That's why it's so important. And then not only the hospitals, though, Heather, there's other places out there that can use Project Heart.
Yeah. So where do you think there are other places that could benefit
Clinics.
from? Okay.
Parent child, what is it? Parent something.
Parents as teachers.
Yeah,
Yep.
all those places, all the community places. You know, you would be surprised at how many people would come forth if they knew it was somebody in that room over there that they could just slide over there and just peek their head and say, "What you do? I got this going on. Can you help me?"
Because as you mentioned before, they're afraid to go to a
Afraid.
medical professional.
Exactly.
Because there could be consequences attached to that.
And you know something else, Heather? It is very important that the staff has to be very careful in how they handle
Yep.
people.
Yep.
That's I can't express that enough. I thank God for all these staffs around here. You know, they welcomed me up here. You know what I mean? What they didn't understand, they came to me to ask to help them to understand.
Because even how many years later, you still remember what that nurse said to you and how that made you feel.
Come on now.
Right? And positive words could have that same effect.
Same effect. Say it again. say what you just said.
That even
Positive words
can have the same
that
effect.
same effect. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, giving them hope. That
Giving
shot of
them hope.
And so how do you feel that a peer recovery coach supports patients differently than other professionals like home visitors, doctors, or social workers? How do you feel that peer recovery coaches support differently?
Okay, so when you have a regular staff member, nurses, doctors, they always come with the uniform, I'ma say. Yeah, the uniform. So when I see the uniform, it's like, oh, what she get ready to tell me? Oh, what he get ready to say?
The feel is different.
The feel. When you see the feel, oh yeah, I can talk to her. I can talk to him, you know, because they right where I'm at and they know what I feel, how I feel. You know, it might not be the same thing, but we can relate to one another. I didn't realize how important it is to have peers in any form, any place, any community place. It is very important. Peers are very important.
Absolutely.
And it has helped so many people. And you know what? I just think that it's just not, it's not over for just the hospitals. You know, I think they need them in mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they do. Some places do, but not many outpatient clinics or not many community-based clinics have peer recovery coaches. But, you know, the peer recovery coach role, there are mental health, which is actually where it started, is mental health peer recovery coaches and substance use.
Okay.
But you're right that it's really a newer thing, right? Over the 15 years ago, nobody ever heard of a peer recovery coach.
Never.
And now I think the value is starting to really be recognized in some areas more than others. But so let's talk about Project Heart a little bit and the program here. And so the hospital has universal screening, meaning every patient that walks through the door is asked the same set of questions, regardless of any substance use history, personal history, anything like that. And what do you see kind of as your responsibility for those patients who have been referred to you? So now the patients who were referred to you are those who have been identified as using either alcohol or substances during their pregnancy. And so what do you see as your role? I think we already talked about this a little bit, but for those patients who have been referred to you.
So my role is to go in and find out exactly where they are. You know, are they using heroin, fentanyl, cocaine? Is it marijuana? You know, is it alcohol? You know, where are you? You know, that's my role, to go in and find out, are they pre-contemplation? Is it contemplation? Where do we start at? Give me what you got.
And how do you do that? How do you determine that or find that out?
First of all, they're questions asked. You can find out about whether a person is in pre-contemplation stage, because if I walk into your room and you're here and you're using and you just had a baby and you know that your baby might have to stay in the NICU, but you say to me, oh, I wasn't using that much. I didn't think I would, I thought I was okay. There's something wrong here. But if I come in and you say, I need help, I don't know what to do, I'm scared, can you help me? So you let me know, you asking me to help you. But on the other hand, one is saying, oh, I might only use a little bit. You know? It's the whole thing is just to get in there and plant a seed. Just plant that seed.
Yeah.
If you just get in there and just plant a seed, you just talked about it. You just said, instead of talking something negative, it's the same outcome, better results with a positive answer. Ain't that what you just said to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
That lady planted a seed in me all them years ago.
Yeah.
When I had that baby, my baby, right? And it's still in me.
But I think too, you mentioned before you have a patient now who you worked with a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you met her then. She wasn't interested in treatment at the time, and now she's back. And so you planted that seed a year ago, and you almost wonder, had you not met with her, had there not been a peer recovery coach, would she be ready now? Maybe, but maybe not.
But I'm telling you, when I went and saw this young lady in ICU and she saw me, though, she bust out crying.
Oh. She remembered you.
She remembered me. And I'm telling you, that was like, my heart was like, yes. And she wants treatment. She is going through any length she can right now
That's great.
to get some help. You know? So seeds are very important.
And you also mentioned, you gave some examples of the stigma that you faced as a patient. And this is kind of putting you on the spot, so if you can't think of anything, it's okay. But do you remember any times when either a patient has relayed a story to you where they experienced stigma, judgment, kind of how you address that? Or has there been a time when they were in the hospital that you witnessed stigma, judgment?
Oh, absolutely.
And how, either if you can just talk a little bit about what
So-
happened, and then how you addressed that or worked with the patient through that.
So a lot of times, right, when I first came up here, staff are not aware of the harm that they can cause an individual patient. It could be their look, their facial expression.
Right.
It can be the nonchalant, because the staff is like, how could she do this to this baby? She knew she was pregnant, you know. But what you don't know is the power of the disease of addiction, right? So, have I ever had to have somebody? Sure. You know? But once you explain things and help them to see it the way that you see it, they come around and they understand. You know? Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But once you're given that information, then you look at things a little different. You're more aware of yourself. You know, because the last thing a mother needs is for you to walk in and you give her a frown. She's hurting.
Right. Yeah.
She done beat her. You know how many times I done beat myself up, man? I knew what I was doing was wrong. Do you hear me, Heather? I knew it. But I couldn't stop.
Right.
Now, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Heather, I couldn't stop. Baby kicking all in my stomach. Kicking. Couldn't stop. I'll get one more and I'll stop. Mm-mm. No.
And that's what these moms are experiencing now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like you said, it wasn't a choice every day.
Mm-mm. I'm
It
telling
was a
you.
need.
It's like, I gotta get it.
Yeah.
Let me get one more. And you know, I hope that somewhere the government will begin to find more places for women with children. That is such a necessity in this city, in this county,
So that they don't have to separate mom to go to treatment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do not have as many facilities that I would love for them to have for women with
To
children.
take their children.
To take their children with them. You know. Did I answer your question? You know
did.
I am.
Yeah. Do you have any stories that come to mind about again, no names, but specific patient stories of, I mean, similar to what you mentioned before about mom who was here a year ago wasn't ready, and this time now she's doing anything and everything she can to get into treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Any stories that kind of stand out for you with patients that you've worked with?
Well, I had one patient. Her name was I can't say her name.
No.
But I had one patient that was up here, and she was very, I want to say, hard, I guess.
Fair.
And I would like be calling her all the time, like, what you doing? Come on, you know what I'm doing, you know. And I'll just encourage her to keep trying, you know. And I would call her at least once a week. I would call her until one day I called her, and she had got into a program.
Oh.
You know, that's something else that and she had got into a program. I think she might have a year and a half now.
Wow.
Yeah, she might have a year and a half. That's another thing. That's a tool that helps women too. A lot of people, like myself, don't want to go through the withdrawals, and that MAT is very helpful to a lot of people. To a lot of people, you know. And that young lady, she's doing good. Haven't spoken with her in a couple of months, but the last I heard, she was doing good.
What do you?
And then this young lady didn't have her kids. Her kids were taken away from her and everything. Now she has her kids. The judge gave her back her kids and everything. And she's doing well. Now, I haven't spoken to her in a couple of months. But the last I heard, she was doing good. Yes.
That's
yes.
great.
Yes. So she got her kids back.
Yeah.
She said, Miss Brenda, I'm doing good. So I
Yeah.
called now. I don't, when they get back on the right track, I'll slack off for a month or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll call
Check
them,
back in.
and they be like, Miss Brenda, you still remember me? Yes. Yeah.
I was on this, like a webinar the other day, and they had some really good points about how when most places measure treatment success, right? All they're measuring is the person still not using, or have they relapsed at all? And even if you use one time in that last year, nope. They don't count, right? They're not a treatment success. And they were saying, but what we're not looking at, not measuring, is other changes in their life. Maybe they got their kids back. Maybe they've held a job for the last 6 months, and that's the longest they've ever held a job. Maybe they're reunited with family members they hadn't talked to in several years. We need to start to capture more than just use or no use, but the changes.
The other day, I was having a conversation with someone. And what they said was that when someone falls, relapse, okay, that one time, get right back on track. And it's like, is it good for us to focus on that lapse, or focus, not ignore it,
right,
address it, right? But is it good for us to just forget about all the progress that this person has made, and I thought about that. It's easy for us to say, you, instead of saying, listen, come on, get back up.
I think a lot of people see it because, your self-help groups measure clean time, right? It's a clock. I've got 24 hours, I've got 3 months, I've got 9 months, I've got 6 years. And patients, I always hear them say that my clock started over, or I lost all my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what do you say to that? I'm sure you've heard patients say
Oh, my goodness.
similar.
You know, I just when someone has clean time and they relapse, I just encourage them to get back up. I try not to put too much on what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to address it and recognize
Mm-hmm.
why it happened.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
But don't stay there in self-pity or poor you or none of that. But to
Right.
get back up, you know? Yeah. Because now early on I was taught that, or I was shown, it was always, and you shouldn't have, and look what you, and not
Yeah.
about all that other good stuff
Yeah.
I had did.
Yeah.
I only messed up this time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it back together. But if you keep throwing in my face what happened, I'm trying to move forward. I'm making any sense?
Yeah. You are. Have you received any positive feedback from patients? I'm sure you have.
Oh,
On
absolutely.
how your role has impacted their life. Anything you can think of?
That young lady upstairs. Mm-hmm.
What has she said?
Miss Brenda, that's all. Look, I go upstairs, and then her nurses and all them be like, I don't know what you did to that young lady, but you all she talk about when we go in that room.
Aww.
Yeah.
Any other patients that you could think of that maybe just reached back out to you, or you mentioned before how they'll just randomly call you and tell you.
Well, I got it's a real nice lady. She's pregnant. She's like 8 months pregnant, and she's been going through a whole lot, you know. And I try to call and encourage her, but she called me the other day. Said, Miss Brenda, how you doing? Yeah. I think building relationships with these women has been very powerful for me. You know, I don't have all the answers for them all the time.
Yeah.
I wish I did, but I'll tell them, I gotta find, make some calls, and I'll get back to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
And have you ever, I remember a couple of coaches telling me once that, and especially the OB coaches, that patients are almost surprised when they reach back out sometimes just to
They
check in
are.
on them.
They cannot believe it. I'm telling you, it's like, I don't know, it's if like somebody else must have said, I'm gonna call you, and never call them.
Yeah.
You know, so when you call them, it's like, I can't believe you called me. I said I was gonna call you. That's the last thing I say before I leave the room. Is it okay if
Yeah.
I call you and
Yeah.
do a follow with you? And they be like, sure. And then when I call them, they be like, I can't believe you called.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that maybe will inform other people about your role?
We need peers. They are much needed. Whatever y'all have with Project Heart,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good program,
Mm-hmm.
and we need peers. We need people involved. We need people that know what it's like to be out there, what it's like to be pregnant, you know, that there is hope, you know, that the light is coming, you know.
And so Project Heart is specific to hospital-based programs and even community programs for patients who are hospital patients. And so I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, so it might be a little repetitive, but how might you see the role of the peer recovery coach expanding to outside of the hospital and in the community?
That's what I was saying. You know, it's like we have community clinics. We have a community center up the street.
Oh.
We have a community center around on not far from here on Hanover Street. You know, we have community centers all over the city. We have what's the name of it? Baltimore City Health Departments.
Yep.
You know, I think peers need to be in there. You know, all these little places where they're doing MATs, treatment and all that, you know. You know, don't just put a person in somewhere, treat them with medication and send them back out. Give them something else. Give them something to see besides taking that med. Give them to see the hope on cleaning up what's going on the inside of them. It's so much more to this.
Yeah.
You know, if things are in place that people can see that there is help for them, I'm telling you, that person in that corner in that office over there, and that peer that just came in, troubled, hurting, don't know what to do, tired of using. Find out about that person over there in that corner.
Mm-hmm. And there's, in some of the more rural areas that we work, like in West Virginia, for instance, or in, parts of the state that are a little more rural, we're also kind of trying out peer recovery coaches who are also trained as community health workers, because we know that usually if somebody has been struggling with substance use for a long time, that's not their only issue,
No.
right? There are other related issues.
Yes.
Maybe they don't have stable housing, maybe they don't have an ID, maybe they don't have a stable food source, right?
Yes.
So how can they expect it to maintain their recovery when their basic needs aren't met?
Say that their basic needs aren't met.
Right.
So that's why we're called resource brokers.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, look,
Yep.
and look, I might not have that resource right then and there, but one of my other peer associates might have it over on the east side, might have it on the west side, right?
Yeah.
My job is to get it to them. Which you need an ID somewhere. Somebody know how to get an ID for this person.
So I guess, can you talk a little bit about that, about your role isn't restricted only to substance use treatment, right? So if a patient says that they're not interested in treatment, what else might you be able to
Say like if
help them with?
I've had patients that come and say, Brenda, I really don't want treatment right now. Brenda, what I need is a place. What I need is some clothes. You know, I got an email that said, and I keep my emails about housing authority. Well, let me hook you up with this number. You need clothes? We got a clothes closet downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole thing is that's hope for them. Oh, dang. The young lady upstairs needed clothes. I ran downstairs and got some clothes for her. You know what I mean? It's like, that's hope. Oh, you know the house authority number? Yes, let me give it to you. Here it is right here. I don't take and do the work for them. I give them what they need so they can participate in their own life. You understand what I'm saying? That's important too. You know, we as peers, because I hold, you know how I am, Heather. I hold your hand. Come on, baby. No, Brenda, you got to let them do some work on this. You know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned earlier too that you wish you could just go out in the middle of the street and scream that there is so much help. And I at least interpreted that, and tell me if I'm wrong, as not just substance use treatment, right? There are so many resources out there
People
for
really
families,
do
for
not
women.
know. You know, sometimes when I'm in the city and I see the pain and devastation, oh my God, on people that don't have a clue that there is help for them. You know, you got some people that know but just don't want it.
Yeah.
But then you got those, Heather, that really don't have a clue.
Yeah.
That is help. One thing I found out since I had this job, it's a lot of resources out there.
Yep.
From A to Z. You just gotta put a little work in.
Yeah.
But you'll find it. Somebody got the answer.
And you're their resource broker.
And I'm their resource
Connect them
broker.
with what they need.
Yes. I tell you, I like my job.
Is there anything else you could think of? Anything else you'd like to add, talk about?
Just keep the hope, you know. Keep doing what y'all doing. You know, keep multiplying and moving from city to city, to state. You know, because y'all have really helped a whole lot of people. And I'm not just talking about people in need. I'm talking about the peer recovery specialists. That we're able
Mhm.
to give back what was so freely given to us. You know, that's hope for me. I'm able to go and help somebody now.
Yeah.
Somebody helped me, so we pass it on.
One of my other OB peer coaches said to me once that there is no other role that she could ever have that would have turned her experiences into something positive.
If you would have said to me 7 years ago, Brenda, you're gonna go in the hospital, you're gonna be working in the hospital, and you're gonna go in there and you're gonna help people. And how am I gonna do that? You're gonna tell them your story. My story. Mine, all the mess, and you're gonna help them. When I walk into a room and a patient could tell me something that you be like, and I'm able to come back and say, give
I've
them
been
my
there.
stuff. And they realize, oh dang, I thought I was bad. I'm just, you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
I should have asked this at the beginning, but I forgot. How long have you been in recovery?
Oh, it'll be 24 years this year.
Congratulations, Brenda. And what do you do currently to maintain your recovery?
I still go to meetings. I got a sponsor. I do my step work. Yeah,
Good for you, Miss Brenda.
I have to.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what I always tell my patients. It doesn't stop when you go get your medical assistant treatment.
Right.
It doesn't stop because you have a month clean. You have to continue to work your process. How do you work it? You might not want to go to meetings, right? But you got to find something
Right.
that works for you, that keeps you clean. It might just be changing people, places, and things. You know, it might be just getting up in the morning, taking a walk. Whatever's going to work for you. I can't tell you
Mhm.
what's going to work for you. Only you know that. That's, oh man, yes. And you know what? It is really, really good to continue in this process. I don't want to, no.
How do you think your process is different now, over 20 years into recovery, versus your first couple of years?
Oh my goodness. Well, in my first couple of years, I thought I knew everything. And ain't know nothing. Trying to control everything and everybody, and can. But oh, what a difference a day make. What a difference a day make. Yeah. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Miss Brenda.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Oh, my
see.
battery's running low. That worked out perfect.